Hi, I'm Eric Roosevelt with Roosevelt's Ride, and today we're talking about bike touring basics. So if you're about to go on a ride, or whether that's today or tomorrow or just very soon, it's always a good idea to check your bike. Make sure the gears are shifting right, the brakes cables aren't too tight or overstretched. Well, in this case, we're about to go on a ride tomorrow, and I noticed that my back brake cable was overstretched. So now I'm going to replace it, and that's what this video is all about. So if you're about to go on a bike tour, check your stuff. You ready to get started replacing this brake cable? Let's jump right in. When replacing any caliper rim brake, you want to make sure that you have the right brake cable. It looks very much like a mushroom. That's what we're looking for. Now, the first step that I usually do when I'm replacing one of my cables on caliper brakes is to go ahead and clip off the cable end. So that way, it can slip through the area of the pinch bolt. Next, I'm going to loosen the pinch bolt. And then your cable should be free to slide right out. Now that we have the pinch bolt removed, if you move the brake forward, you can actually see right here where the brake ends, or the brake cable ends. And if you remove the cable and cable housing from the stop down here, right under the top tube, and then you start to push, you'll see that the cable starts to slide out. So when you pull the brake lever forward, it kind of helps to have your wife or somebody hold, or you can use a rubber band or something to hold the brake open. So that way the cable slides right out. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just put a little bit of lube on my hand. With a little bit of lube on my hand, I'm going to take the brake cable and I'm going to slide it just to lube it up just a little bit. And then you can take this and slide it right back into place. Of course, it doesn't find it. There it goes. And you can slide it right back into place. Now, it can be a little bit tricky to find the housing. And normally when we replace brake cables, we also replace the housing. But in this case, the housing was still in good shape. Make sure it's well seated. So as you can see, it's nice and seated. As you can see, the brake cable comes out right here, and then there's a cable stop here. So the next step is to put your cable through your cable stop. Now, some bikes have a slit right at the bottom of the cable stop, so you can just push it right in and pull and go. And then normally a cable kit comes with little rubber bumpers. That's to protect your frame from rubbing on the cable. So we'll go ahead and put all three of those little bumpers on. And normally I try to evenly space them out. The next step is to take the back portion of your cable housing and just slide it through, like so. And then you'll slide the cable right through the brake stop, or the cable stop. And then the last thing you got to do for the cable routing is fish it through the brake itself. And then also line it up with the pinch block. Now, there is a little channel right here on the pinch block. It's a little V block that it's important that the cable nests right inside of. When I'm replacing brake cables, all I have to do to get the proper tension is just hold the brakes against the rim, but make sure that it's not too tight, because when you loosen it up or open your hands back up, your brake pads will be too close to your rim. A little too close, so we're going to go right there. One click is all it takes. And then you make sure your wheels spin freely. You have proper clearance on both sides of your brake. which we do. At every bolt and screw, I always use a torque wrench just to make sure that I don't shear off the heads of any of the fasteners. There was one time when we were on a tour, I had an adjustable stem on this very bike, and I sheared the one thing that allowed I sheared the one thing that allowed the stem to remain at the proper angle. So since then, Christina insists that I use this, and you know what? She's right. Now that I have proper brake cable tension, it's time to cut off the axis. I try to give it about 2 inches. I just kind of estimate this using the first and second knuckles on my index finger. It's not exact, but it definitely gets the job done. Same with these wire clippers. They're not exactly meant for bikes, but you use what you have sometimes. And when you clip, sometimes you'll notice that your cable end frays a little bit. That's why we're going to go ahead and install our cable ends next. So the last step in this process is we're going to take one of these cable ends and go ahead and just slide it right on. And with these not proper pliers for this job, I'm going to pinch it twice. So it just goes to show you, you use what you can, and you do what you can with what you got. So there we go. There you have it. It's a fairly easy process to replace your bike brake cables, whether you're replacing the back or the front. And it's also very important to double check how your cables shift, your front and rear derailleurs, and then also make sure those brakes work, because that's what helps you stop when you're on the trail. Anyway, be sure to check out some of our adventure videos over here where me and Christina show you exactly why it's important to check all your stuff, because you're carrying so much weight while you're on bike tour. So be sure to like and subscribe to Roosevelt's Ride so we can offer you tips, tricks, and a few snack ideas to get you on your next adventure. Take care.